Hey everybody, how we doing? We got a clone saw lineup here. Farmertec 440 clone, Amazon 372, and the eBay saw that I ended up paying 75 bucks for. I guess it's a clone of a Zenoah, something like that. Pretty common eBay, Amazon saw, 58cc. I got myself down to basically no wood this year, nothing left. I thought I was good, and then we had another cold snap, so this stuff's been sitting for a couple of years. It's pretty dry, so I'm gonna cut up some rounds here. We've got that branch in there that fell off the Chinese elm tree. That's still green, but I'm not going to worry about trying to burn that, but I'll at least start cutting some of it up. But I'll run these three saws here, and I got my phone tucked back just inside the overhang on the barn here, and we'll see if I can get some video cutting this stuff up. And I got to tighten up the chain on the 372. Hopefully we don't have a lot of wind here, but anyway, I'll go over to the back of the truck, tighten up that chain, gas everything up, and we'll start doing some cutting. All right, we'll start with this little Zenoah knockoff clone here. Everything's cold. We'll get it started, get it warmed up. Still got to trim that kill switch off. Bad for 75 bucks. All right, Amazon clone saw, pipe, timing advance, otherwise stock, 28-inch bar. Alright, this is the Farmertec 440 clone, 32-inch bar. This is the one that the Farmertec screws popped off the jug. So I put some steel factory hardware in there, put it back together, and we'll see how it runs. Back to that 372. I think I'd like a couple of 28-inch light bars. That's what these were supposed to be, but that didn't happen. I like the 28 the best. The 32 is probably a little long. It is nice and big wood, but just to carry it around for stuff like this, that's a heavy bar. perfect for this kind of stuff. All right, I get a lot of questions on these clone saws. This 440 Farmertec clone was actually a kit. I built it, and from day one it's had a 32-inch bar on it and a muffler mod. Not real pretty, but it functions. Now, I was saying before, I lost the factory Farmertec screws that hold the jug on the cylinder. It popped the heads right off them, so I did replace those with some factory steel hardware. And when I did, I cleaned up the flashing on the piston, just very light port work. But day one, it's had a gasket delete. So this thing runs pretty good. The only reason I have such a big bar on it is because I needed something at the time. I actually used it on an Alaskan mill. I had a pine log that was so big it couldn't fit on my band mill. So I used this saw with an Alaskan mill to flat side one side of it just so it would fit on the band mill. This has been a good saw. The only problems I've had with it is, like I said, the screws and the recoil cord that broke. This is just some orange paracord 550. I like to replace them with that. It's pretty tough stuff and it holds up pretty good. So yeah, orange paracord. Now the 372, you guys have seen a bunch of videos I got on that. Timing advance pipe, and other than that, the internals are bone stock. I have never even taken apart. I don't know what kind of condition, you know, the fit and finish, all that. I have no idea. I think, you know, that was money well spent. This thing was just under 200 bucks and best 200 bucks I ever spent. I can't deny that at all. So the Farmertec clone kit, that was, I think I paid like $320 for that kit. But that was probably 3 years ago now. So I don't know what they're going for now. But yeah, Amazon saw, good purchase, real happy with that. And then we got this little 58cc Zenoah. It was listed as a 62cc saw. Come to find out, it's only 58. Didn't pay very much to begin with. I think it was 85 bucks, and then messaged the guy and basically asked him if he had the 62cc, because that's the one I really wanted, and he said nope. So he sent me back 10 bucks, so basically paid $75 for it, and that was delivered. So these are all knockoffs of something. This is a Zenoah, I guess, Zenoah knockoff. I don't really know too much about these. Obviously Husky 372 knockoff and Steel MS440 knockoff. But I have to say that each one of these is kind of impressive in their own way. I don't think that they pose much of a threat to the factory saw market, just because, I mean, if you were a professional, you're not going to be buying these kind of saws. They're you know, they're clones. They're cheap. They're knockoffs. They're you know, they're not built to the same standards. Now, are they worth buying? I think so. I think for the kind of stuff that I do, you know, run them until they break and then rebuild them. You know, they're all worth it, every one of them. And you know, even this little $75 eBay saw. I mean, if you didn't have a chainsaw, it's perfect. Oh yeah, I got my nice multi-kit here. Top saw, check those things out. They're awesome. Yeah, even this 440, like I said, used it on an Alaskan mill. It was perfect. I had some monster pine logs, stuff for the band mill, and then stuff that I just wanted to cut up for, you know, burning in the fire pit. So a lot of it was 36 inches plus. So that bar helped a lot. I don't know. Like I said, not a huge threat to the factory saw market, I don't believe. But they're still definitely worth buying, you know. And if you need a saw, they're cheap enough. And if you can tinker around with them, perfect. If you can't, if you're the type of person that doesn't work on anything, then go to a dealership, buy a factory saw, and let them service it and work on it and fix it. But if you're like me, you know, I'll rip right into them. I don't care. I don't have a problem with it. So anyway, there they are, all the clones lined up. These are the only 3 clone saws that I have right now, and I'm happy with each one of them in their own right. So all right guys, thanks for watching.